Well, Grand Rising, everybody, and welcome to Self Care. And we are so excited to have you here today. We're talking about taking back your power, which is so important. And we're going to be looking at it from a variety of different ways. And today's guest is Jeramy Freeman. Let me bring him on so he can properly introduce himself. Hi.
Good morning. How you doing, Jody?
I am awesome because I have my upgrade.
I love the smile. The smile is bright.
Well, I'm going to tell you the story now. I know we're talking for a brief moment in the green room. I woke up this morning. It's so dark, and I'm not good with the darkness, of course, because I'm a light worker, right? Light workers don't like the dark. So I wake up, and I'm like, it's too dark for me, and I don't want to get out of bed. I'm like, but I have a show, so I have to get out of bed. And I'm like, I need my upgrade. So I take my upgrade, right? I've got my box.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. So we have tons of different flavors. And so I take my upgrade, and literally in less than like 3 minutes, I'm a happy camper again. I'm talking to my husband because I don't want to talk to anybody.
No, that's the nice thing about Upgrade is that, there's a lot of benefits to it rather than, other than just focus. I mean, focus, of course, is the main characteristic we're looking for to increase our productivity and all those things. It's a great tool for that. But, there's so many other things that it does that really help us. And, in today's world, where, we do have imbalances in serotonin, imbalances in dopamine, and our bodies are always triggering those things. This helps to regulate that, helps to regulate your serotonin, your dopamine, so that you actually, it does elevate your mood in a natural way. And so
how does it regulate your mood, and how does it elevate the dopamine and serotonin? What are the things that like a scientist type person like you looked at to help people upgrade that?
Yes. Okay. So there's an ingredient in there called shishandrol. Now, shishandrol is an adaptogen, and a lot of people, know about adaptogens like ashwagandha. There's a bunch of them. I won't go into
mushrooms, and I know Shoshana berry. Is Shishandrol Shoshana berry?
Yes, but what we do is we use actually the shishandrol berry, but we take that and we take 200 kilos of it. Okay, 200,
Wow.
and we condense 200 kilos down to one single kilo. Okay, to get it at a 98% concentration, because normally it comes at about a 12% concentration. So you have 12% shishandrol, and then you have the 88% of whatever else, organic material. And so we want to make sure we have the purest form of whatever we're putting in our product. And so what we do is we condense that shishandrol right down to 98% to 99% concentration. So it's very, very potent, very, very powerful. And again, it's an adaptogen. An adaptogen is an herb that helps you more adequately deal with stress. Now, we are in a world where we're putting our brains into a chronic state of stress because we overstimulate. We're taking stimulant type products that have caffeine in them, synephrine, of course, a lot of the sugars that we're consuming and things like that, that all speed the brain up, excitotoxins, all those different things. And so this right here kind of helps to recenter the brain, it helps to take the blood from the limbic part of the brain when you have that caffeinated product, it puts the blood in the back part of the brain, in your limbic brain. It's kind of like,
hold on. So if it's pushing, so the title of today's show is Taking Back Your Power.
Yes.
Right. And so I'm dying to tie this back now because if you're starting your day with a cup of coffee and you're not starting it with Upgrade,
you've already given your power away.
Giving your power away.
Giving your power away.
We don't need to do anything else for the show. We're done.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yes. So, the good thing about Upgrade, again, it upgrades your day. It does help you take back your power, because what people are doing, I mean, the number one consumed ingredient in the nation or in the world, I think it is sugar. Number two is caffeine. And so
it's not Shoshana berry?
Well, Shishandrol should be. So Shishandrol actually, not a lot of companies use it. It's very, very expensive, but it works great. And it does help.
I've known about Shoshana berry as soon as I became a holistic nutritionist.
Yes.
And so when I learned about it, and also actually prior to becoming a nutritionist, the power of mushrooms, especially lion's mane.
Yes.
Um, I love aptogenic herbs. I mean,
Yes.
because if you take, I made this list of, and it'll be on my website. It's not now; it's a free download, but like all these different mushrooms, right? And we're not talking psychedelics, people. We're just talking regular mushrooms, lion's mane, chaga, turkey tail, all of that. And cordyceps, one of my favorites.
I love cordyceps. Yep. So some
Yep.
of my products as well.
Oh, love, yeah. So every single one of them helps you with stress.
Yes.
Every single one. And so you can take back your power starting with nutrition, right?
That's where it starts. Listen, we know, I mean, Jody, you do the same thing as I do. We work with people and we help them take back their power. And one of the ways we do that is by helping them get rid of the aches, the pains, the ailments that they have in their body. And even if it's holding an extra 30 or 40 pounds, I mean, think about, if you were to walk around with a backpack or even a pair, let's say I used to have people in my gym pick up a pair of dumbbells, like 225-pound pair of dumbbells. I just walk around the gym to show them the facility when they first walked in, because they'd tell me I have 50 pounds to lose. And so I'd walk past the dumbbell racks and pick up a 225s. And they're like, why? And just do it, And so I'd have them walk around with that 50 pounds for like 5 minutes while I showed them the gym. They're like, what am I doing with these dumbbells? I'm like, they're like, I'm exhausted. I'm out of breath. I'm like,
Right.
well, you told me when you came in the door that you have 50 pounds that you need to lose. And now you just walked around with 50 pounds. You know how much energy that expends. Okay. You're literally depleting your energy in 5 minutes carrying that around. Think about all day long, the extra 50 pounds, that passive weight that you're carrying, and how much is depleting your energy. And so it was a way just to show them that, hey, listen, we are here to optimize, so it's not just the pain, the aches, because we all know that whenever we have pain, a headache, a migraine, a stomach ache, achy joints, it doesn't matter what it is. When we have pain in the body, it's hard for us to manage our minds, because the body tries to tell us what it's going to do, and then we let it. And so, of course, the bigger part of this we want to probably talk about today is how to manage the mind and taking back our power by managing the mind. But, first and foremost, like you said, Jody, it's the nutrition, because nutrition does create cellular unity, like your cell health. And so, when you create cell health, now what's happening is you're creating that cellular unity that helps to get rid of those aches, those pains, that inflammation, and the things that cause all the issues that we're having that are allowing us to be able to think clearly.
Yeah, I have so much to say about that. I'm actually letting people know that we're live now in my Facebook group. We have about 600 or 700 people in here. So I want to let them know that we're here. But I want to, I was active listening to you, and you talked about the 50-pound weight that they're carrying, right?
Yeah,
And
actually,
that's the physical weight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about the mental weight?
Yes. Well, listen, the mental weight is probably, the things we think and how we think, it dictates what every cell in the body does. And so it all starts with the mind. It all starts with thought. And it starts with how we use thought. So we can use thought in a negative way and think about all the things, all the what ifs, the worries, the doubts, the fears, and all the things that create anxiety. And when you think something that gives you stress, well, you produce the chemicals of stress. And that tells every cell in your body to either vibrate at a lower frequency or, a higher frequency, depending on what you're thinking. But again, that stressful thought, it creates increased acids. It makes those cells stick together and coagulate rather than have their own space and run and have cellular unity where they run free and do what they're supposed to do. And
well,
so,
yeah, and especially, take that, they're clumping together, right? And so take that and you couple it, that bad diet that's got the heavy metals in it, and then you walk outside or you're in your own house and you're not neutralizing the electromagnetic frequencies. Now your body's fighting the bad nutrition coupled with your bad thoughts, coupled with the frequencies that are in your home, and you could look like me, which was a hot mess, 235 pounds and nearly dead. Just saying. Yeah.
Yeah. And, and the thing about it is if we back it all the way up to, to the origin. The origin is thought, because thought is, the origin of everything. Okay. And so, when you can't think clearly, because you're overweight, or because you're sick, or you're tired, or you have some type of virus, or something that's attacking your system, your mind is really not your own. Okay. Your body takes control. And so you never want your body to have control. You want your mind to have control. So when we start with thought, and start changing the way we think and how we think, it opens our mind to be able to realize, oh, there's more here. And when you start thinking clear, you're like, oh, you know what? I need to change the things I'm eating. And you see that clearly. And then you start to be, more open and aware to the other things that may be attacking your system, the EMFs or whatever it is. But those realizations, I don't think, come about until the mind is in control again, until you allow the mind to be in control again, because we are, our attention, our focus, that is our power. But we're giving that attention, we're giving our thought away, and even sometimes our ability to choose. We all have the ability to choose, but we're even giving the ability to choose away as well. And I'll get into that deeper as we go.
Well, yeah. So I was listening to the book, The Biology of Belief.
Oh, I love that book.
So he talks about your receptor cells and your sensory cells. And as a quantum energy healer and medical intuitive, I started getting downloads. So we don't have all of our cells, sensory, receptor, and there's more. I know you know them all. I actually want to re-listen to the book, get the physical book, and take notes, because it's so profound. So if anybody's looking for a good book, The Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton. But I activated my cells, my sensory and my receptor cells. And I did that for a few family members energetically, because so things can, in our physical and energetic body, lay dormant. And so, viruses lay dormant, right? So why can't a cell lay dormant? So if your sensory and receptor cells are laying dormant, that means you're not receiving and sensing those things around you. Okay.
Yeah.
Tie it back to taking back your power. Okay. So you have to be aware. You have to be able to sense everything around you in order to take back your power, because you have to have the discernment to begin with, to know what's going on. And then once you have discernment and awareness and discernment, then you can make choices about what is good for your highest values and what's not.
Right.
And I think we need to do a deeper dive on all that. But that's the top level. And I made my list this morning. I'm like, I want to make sure we cover it all.
Well, if I get too long-winded on something, just keep me moving along. Keep it moving along.
Me too, right? Like, we both, you and I, it's good. And it's the, all of our positive traits also have, like, a negative to it. Right. Yeah. And so you and I are both driven by the divine. And so the divine speaking through us, they're like, and go. So, I'm learning to pause while the divine is speaking through you. And you are always good to me. And you pause as the divine is speaking through me. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, thank you as well.
So it's just hilarious. It's like cha-ching. So thank you to my husband, Andrew. He's listening in the car on his way to work.
Hey, Andrew.
Yeah. And then we have Naima Latif from the Female Solution.
Hi, Naima.
Hi. She says, Grand Rising. I love that exercise with the 50-pound weights. I'll try that with some of my friends that are struggling with weight loss and need motivation to change their diets. Actually, better than that, refer them to me and to Jeramy, because that's not your gig. That's not your profession. So send them to somebody who's a professional, That would be awesome.
But even just to give them the awareness to be able to make change, sometimes that 5 minutes, is enough of a shift for somebody to understand that, oh my goodness, I do need to do something. Carrying around a 50-pound weight for 5 minutes, you're like, oh my goodness, you can't believe the amount of energy that you just expended. It's a good eye opener. So yes, open their eyes and send them over.
Yeah. And so when I was in Orlando, Florida in 2015, I was in the midst of my weight loss journey. And it's really not a weight loss journey, it was a reclaim my health journey. So I was probably down about 60 or 70 pounds by that time. And I went to, I can't remember, it's a research company, on health. And they had a 5 pound slab of fat.
Yes, I've had that in my facility as well. I have the muscle and the fat. You see that the fat, is actually 3 times larger than the muscle. You have a pound of muscle like this, whereas a pound of fat is like this big. So the amount of space that it takes up is 3 times greater.
Yes. And when I was a gym, actually all my life, mostly, well, no, I shouldn't say that. I should say, because I'm not as young as I used to be.
Time does fly.
Oops. So as a gymnast and up until my 30s, when I was misdiagnosed, right, I weighed way more than all my friends, all my girlfriends, but I wasn't fat. I had a ton of muscle weight because I was a bodybuilder and a gymnast. And so my best weight as a 5'4" woman was 140 pounds, and I was slim, like
Yeah.
really slim. I had the regular amount of BMI. I don't remember what it was, but um, so I encourage you, if you're an athlete, don't worry so much about your weight. Be more focused on the type of weight, right? If
Yeah,
you're
and don't focus on the BMI either. The BMI is a 200-year-old system, and so we now today in this world, people are training. Just 80 years ago, people did not train with weights. Very few people even ran for exercise. It was being active. It was doing your work. Nowadays, we all do that, and of course, people do carry more muscle. We eat more protein, and so we are a species now that with increased muscle mass, the BMI doesn't equate. Like when I was in high school, I was very, very lean, didn't have barely any body fat. And at 220 pounds, graduating from high school, I was considered already obese. Didn't have any body fat on me. I was very lean. I already started competing, but I was considered to be obese. And then of course, only about 10 or so pounds more, I'm now morbidly obese. Of course, during my bodybuilding career, I was up to 305 pounds at 5% body fat. Now, I'm not going to say that that's not a little excess stress in the heart. It definitely is, but it was not body fat, passive weight. It was active weight, and of course, that right there is a lot of work to maintain, but it's not your BMI. Your BMI then is, in the risk range according to the BMI.
Yeah, and so I trained under a functional medicine doctor who who is struggling. He got insurance, but he was struggling to get insurance, because he was built like you.
My insurance. I had to lose I had to lose muscle, is a lot of muscle for me to just get insurance. Only, just a few years back, because my weight was too heavy and everything else was perfect. My blood work was spot on, but because my weight was too high, forget about it. They put me in the highest bracket, according to BMI. As a matter of fact, I had a whole panel of doctors with Northwest Mutual that I had to get in front of and to try to debate, the whole BMI with my weight and my, being the sticking point for me to get insurance.
Yeah, it's silly, is it not?
Yeah.
So so we know that taking back your power starts with a healthy diet, right? Because a healthy diet, healthy food, and the proper nutrition gives you the optimal brain health, which is why we use Upgrade, to at least I do, to get my day started. If you're not, you should. And there's a code. It's capital JODI 15, right? If they want to if they want to order upgrade.
Jody 15. Jody 15. Yep.
Yeah, I put 14. Hold on. So if you want to order that, I'm also going to get the link for the Freeman Formula. And, when I first met you, I didn't really understand the concept of the name of your company, Freeman Formula. Like, I was so ignorant. But it didn't take me more than 2 weeks to figure it out, which is just kind of slow. But I'm going to present just so people know where they're going. So you're going to freemansupplements.com, okay? And you're going to go to look at the upgrade link there, and I'll put that in there. But look, you can purchase every single ingredient in this bottle. Do it. Go ahead. Purchase every single ingredient in this bottle. Buy it separately. You won't get the results because it's his formula. It's his concentration. It's how it all works together. And then the frequency that he puts on it, on the upgrade, that makes the difference. And so you can buy all the different ingredients. Go, oh, I have Shoshana berry, or I have L-theanine, or whatever it is that you think that you have in your that you think that you have in your cupboard of supplements. You don't, but you go ahead and you try. Okay.
Yeah, it's and we've all done that. Listen, we've all seen, and I've done the same thing. But you're right. When you do put formulation together and you do start to try to, it's a formulation isn't the final formulation when you first create it. This product has been out for almost 16 years, and
Wow.
so I always try to. We've over the years tried to perfect it, make it better, and improve it. And so, one of those processes was going from a 12% standardized, Shoshandrol to a 98, 99%. Same thing with alpha GPC. There's a 50% form. There's a 100% form. Well, obviously the 100% form costs more. Obviously the 98% form costs more, but they're both more effective as well. And so we go with the highest potency of everything that we use. And of course, you can go out there and you can buy the 12% standardized form of Shoshandrol, but you're just not going to feel the same effect. And so we've gone the extra mile to put these things together, but also to be able to create a synergistic effect at certain amounts. So there is a lot of time, energy, detail that has been put into this product. So, it's hard to duplicate.
Yeah. And and that's when I understood what the formula was all about. I'm like,
yeah, and the formula, I'm a formulator. I've been formulating products for a lot of companies, of course, my company as well. But it's more than that. Freeman Formula is a formula for success in our lives. And so it's a philosophy to always put your best foot forward, to always operate with integrity, with a positive attitude, to be able to be a problem solver, focused on growth, and to have a do it now mindset. That's what the philosophy and the, of Freeman Formula is to be the leader of your life, to step into the leadership position. Okay. Because if you have the ability to think, if you have the ability to choose, then you have to be the one doing the thinking and the choosing that directs your life in the direction of where you want it. Because so many people are living their life for somebody else, and they're giving away their thought energy. They're giving away their choices because they are not in control. And so Freeman Formula is all about showing people how to step into that leadership position, okay, to take their life in the direction of where they want to go.
Yeah. And let's talk about the fact that people have been really programmed to give their power away.
They
right?
have. Yes.
And so, and I don't want to necessarily spend so much time on how they got programmed as to how to reprogram.
Yes.
I mean, we know we got programmed by, and I'll just give the Reader's Digest version, your family members, mom, dad, grandpa. There's cellular memories that come in that are passed down in the generations or in your cells, no question about it. And while I always knew this on an intuitive level, and I learned about it from my doctors, I've really started studying that really studying the power of our cells. Like it's crazy cool.
It really
like,
is.
like,
Biology is amazing.
yeah, like I want to become a biologist chemist, you know?
Yes, that's my path, and I love it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When you hear the statement "as above, so below," you really do see that. When you look at things cellularly, as even from above. I can give you 100 different examples of it, but it's entirely true.
Well, the company I worked for was ADIO, above, down, inside, and out.
There we go.
Yeah. So, um, it was the chiropractic
Mm.
name. So, and that's who I trained under. His one of the doctors that I trained under, and he's just brilliant, and so grateful that that he crossed my path. Right. Um, so some of the things I'm just going to give the laundry list that we want to talk about is about being present. So, in order to take your power back, you have to start
Yep.
off by being self aware, being present, living by your highest values, accessing source energy, just to name a few. Um, I know you have more. What else do you want to add to that list so I make sure we cover?
Well, let's go with that list because there's things I know that I can add on directly to what you're saying there, just to kind of give depth to some of the topics that are there.
Okay. So, as you know, I trained for many years under Dr. John D.
Yes.
He is one of the authors of the book The Secret, contributing authors, and he was well, he still is a chiropractor. He just doesn't practice as one, and he has a link that we're going to share today that's free, where you can determine what your highest values are. And I use this probably now twice a year because when you first take his assessment, a free assessment on determining what your highest values are, you'll take the assessment. You'll say, okay, my highest values are money, family, health, right? And then in the assessment, they'll say, well, where's the evidence? Right? Where's the evidence that family is in your highest values? Right? Where's the evidence that managing your finances are in your highest values? And where's the evidence that health is in your highest values? And if you don't have evidence, then, and you really do think it's in your highest values, then you're actually just fooling yourself to
Yeah.
think like, you're lying to yourself.
Believe in yourself.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And
Yeah.
so, but it's awesome because if you recognize that there's no connection between what you think is your highest values and your actual actions and behaviors, because in your inactions, right?
Yeah.
Um, then that's your starting point for growth because that's your self awareness. Like, oops, I'm really not doing what I think is my highest values. Why? Most often because we are people pleasers and we're pleasing somebody else because we want that instant gratification of, oh, thank you, right? Thank you for helping me and doing XYZ. But you're left with resentment and retaliation. And because you weren't really doing what you wanted to do, you were doing what somebody else wanted you to do because you were programmed to believe that's what you were supposed to do. We're supposed to be servants. Yes, of God, not of others.
Yeah. So let me, can I give if you
Yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah.
all that?
Rant over. Your turn, hon.
And so, one of the things I always say is that behavior never lies. Okay. Behavior never lies. It tells you everything. And so what happens is we usually try to look at other people's behavior. And of course, it tells us an awful lot. But what's really important is that we look at our own behavior. And again, the lies that we're telling ourselves. And so, again, the way I look at it is that we all have the opportunity every day for growth and improvement. And we all have to look at ourselves a little bit differently. We have to look at ourselves as the leaders of our lives. Okay. The ones that are calling the shots, because you are. Okay, just the statement that I say alone, the things you think and how you think dictate what every cell in your body does. And so the things that we think here tells all this what to do. So let's say that this right here, this is the king, okay, of this kingdom. Okay,
Mhm.
and so you have to make sure that if your kingdom is going to be in order, okay, instead of chaos, that you have to have order here. And so when you look at yourself as a leader, the number one thing, the foundation of leadership is character. Why? Because character, it means one, it means predictable, it means concrete. Okay, it means that you are the same today as you were yesterday. It means that what you do today is what you're going to do tomorrow. Okay, it means one. It means that the things that you're thinking, the things that you're saying, and the things that you're doing, they all align. It all means one. It means concrete. Okay, so think of a concrete pillar. Okay, if you're a leader and you're like a concrete pillar, then it's hard to shake. It's unbreakable. But if you put characteristics into character, okay, that's the rebar. You've all seen rebar, the metal rods that go into a pillar, into concrete. You ever seen that
Yes.
before?
Yeah. My dad was a developer. Yeah.
Yeah, so my dad was a contractor. So when you see a concrete pillar, it always has metal rods inside of it. Why? Because it strengthens the concrete. And so characteristics, they help to strengthen your character. So characteristics like, let's say, integrity. Okay, I think that's the
Got it.
foundation.
Got
It's
it.
the
So your
foundation.
characteristics are integrity. What else? Just give me like a couple of lists.
Well, it's integrity, the way I look at it is integrity is number one. Presenting yourself with a positive attitude, the way you present yourself in your physiology, the smile on your face, the way you hold yourself, the way you interact with people, that right there is presenting yourself to the world with a positive attitude. Being a problem solver, that's a characteristic, okay, that really will strengthen you
Interesting.
and increases your value as well. And then, of course, being focused on growth, because we can be focused on 100 things, but we're here to grow. The only time we really truly feel fulfilled in this life is when we're growing, when we're evolving, when we're moving forward and making progress. So a focus on growth helps that. But then there's also a characteristic you want to avoid. The characteristic that you want to avoid, that most people are trapped in and that are taking their powers nowadays, is procrastination. You want to implement a do it now mindset. A do it now mindset is taking back your power. Because think about it, we're procrastinating now because we're giving our power away to social media, to movies on demand. At any moment you can watch the next Netflix show, Prime TV, Hulu, whatever it is. Everything is at our fingertips. And of course you can go on TikTok or any of those social sites and you can go down this rabbit hole and spend hours and hours there, where your attention is being given away, okay, to something outside of yourself. So to go back to you being the leader of your life, having character, the first characteristic is integrity. Why integrity? Because integrity is doing the right thing, okay, and doing what you said you're going to do to the best of your ability, even when no one's looking, because no one's looking most of the time,
I know.
right?
That's my favorite.
No one's looking. And so think about this for a second. Jody, I've worked with thousands and thousands of people, and I've spoken in front of huge crowds. And I always ask, how many of you in here, consider yourself to be a person of strong integrity? I'm telling you, everybody's hands go up. Everybody's hand goes up.
They're not even close.
Right. So what happens is a little while later, I'll say, now, how many of you have said, what, I'm going to start eating cleaner on Monday and I'm going to start exercising on Monday? And how many people have done that? And then Monday comes and goes and they don't do anything. And everybody's like, yes, I've done that. And when's the last time they did it? Last Monday. You know what I mean? So they do it over and over again. And so what I bring back is that, listen, okay, we do probably operate with integrity a lot of times, but integrity starts with you and who you are. And so if you can just look at integrity and say, okay, you know what? If I'm lying to myself and telling myself that I will do something, but then I don't, okay, then you are diminishing your own integrity with yourself. So that means that you're not truly a person of integrity. And so what I like to do is this. In my seminars, I talk about, the thought, okay, because thought is the origin. Let's say the thought of integrity. Okay, we all know what the word means. I just gave you the definition of it.
Mhm.
But now let's just take the thought of integrity real quickly, and let's sit here and think of the idea of it. What does the idea of integrity look like? Well, it looks like the action. We can see somebody who operates, who said that they're going to do something, and then they do it. And we can see, how that looks to us. And we might even think of a person we know that has integrity when we think of the idea of it. So the one thing that I always talk about is if you're a leader and the leader of your life, then every leader is led by a greater vision. Okay, led by vision. Vision is what leaders are led by. And so if you can instead, go from thought to idea to a greater vision. Now, if you were to take the thought of integrity and you were to think of yourself, envision yourself, operating with true integrity in every situation, it's part of who you are. It consumes you. It is part of every cell of your body. Okay, if you were to envision yourself, being a person of uncompromising integrity in all situations, now you become predictable. Character means one. It means predictable. Integrity ties it all together. Because now if you have integrity, then you build trust with people. People trust you. You're reliable. And it strengthens your character, obviously, right? So integrity, when you envision, have the vision of yourself, being embodied, the embodiment of integrity, then you could think of a situation 50 years from now and say, what would you do in the situation? You'll know the answer. You can think of a situation in 5 minutes from now where your integrity could be compromised. And if you're a person of integrity, it will not be compromised because you know who you are. So it has to be part of who you are. Not just the word or the idea, but who you are. If you're the leader of your life, then integrity is number one, and it has to be in the vision of who you are. You have to see it, you have to feel it. And guess what? Now, the indecisiveness that we have in this world, people can't make a decision to do anything. When you have integrity, you now have become decisive. You know what your strong yeses are, and you know what your strong no's are. You know what you will do, and you know what you won't do. You can plug it into any situation, anywhere, at any time. It is endless and it is infinite. So just that one characteristic strengthens character, strengthens your leadership and the direction where you're going. If you guys that are listening to this, just to take that one thing, you take that one thing, you plug it in today, it'll change your entire life.
So let me add to that if I could.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because what you said is amazing, right? But I want to go back to when I was working at the bank. It was 10 years ago. I was working at a bank since I was 14, but don't hold that against me. But when I was 50, I was working at a bank in Libertyville, Illinois. And also the same bank in Park Ridge, Illinois, different locations, of course. And that was actually 2012, August. And let me just hear, August 10th and August 28th. Why are these dates so critical and help drive in the concept of integrity and values and living by your mission? God comes to us in different ways. And sometimes if you can't get the message, he'll send a human out to give it to you. They're called your, angels on earth, your messengers. Now, sometimes they are kind and amazing, like Jeramy Freeman, and sometimes they're jerks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we learn more from the people that with the negative than we do with the positive for some reason.
So let me share this. So my father dies August 10th. I'm in training from August 1st to August 10th. I'm being told, wait, let me just make sure. They're telling me to say the name of the bank. I was working for PNC Bank. The acronym for PNC Bank is Pretty Nasty Culture. And the woman I worked for, her first name was Olga. My father dies. I'm in training. I have not even been in the bank yet, her bank, right, in Park Ridge. And I tell her that I can't come in on that Monday because my dad died. I'm going to the funeral. And she says, well, first of all, she doesn't even say, I'm sorry for your loss, which is usually a standard answer, right? At least a good standard 3D answer. My 5D answer is, well, you can talk to them. So, but I was not in 5D at that point. I was in 3D. And sorry, I'm almost stopped because it's so crazy what I'm about to tell you. She said, well, I didn't get to see my father buried, so you don't get to see yours. And if you do want to go to his funeral, you need to find yourself a replacement for work. Now, I don't know anybody at the company, number one, because I've only been there for 10 days in training, and I haven't met anybody at that office. And I just said to her, I said, okay, thank you. Didn't argue with her because, like, it crossed the line with me. And I thought, you can't argue with stupidity. So I just paused. And then I hung up the phone and I called HR. And I said, hi, I'm new with the company. I said, my dad died. And, I'm going to his funeral, but Olga says I can't. I said, I just want to let you know that you can fire me if you'd like to. I said, have at it. I said, but I'm going to his funeral. So, of course, I went to his funeral. And that, kind of set the tone for the relationship with my new boss. Wait, it gets better. August 28th, my sister's then fiance, Vincenzo, he passed. Now that falls over Labor Day. And I was living in Illinois, and my sister and Vincenzo lived here in Georgia. So they think I'm just trying to schedule a trip to Georgia. Like he didn't actually die, and they want a copy of his death certificate. I'm like, really? Like, you can't make this stuff up, right? So I transferred to a different location, right? I transferred. So, but what happened was, at that moment in time, this is my wake-up call. This is when I spiritually awoke, okay? I came up with this quote, which I found out there's one similar. So don't penalize the messenger, okay? But if people tell you who they are, it's up to you to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Maya Angelou came up with one that's similar years ago. I wasn't following her at that time. This one just came to me from spirit. But people do tell you who they are, and it's up to you to listen. And sometimes we have to be hit in the face by a 2x4, an energetic 2x4, for us to go, oh, this doesn't resonate with me. This culture doesn't resonate with me. This person doesn't resonate with me. This level of integrity doesn't resonate with me. And it helps you define your own integrity and your own values faster. So you want to send a thank you card to that person, right? You want to send them grace because they have some growth to do. And that is when I realized that if I can wake up in the morning and look myself in the mirror and be okay with what I'm saying and doing, I don't really need anybody else's approval. And that's what I wish for all of you to get, that you really, the only approval you need is yours and God, right? And you have to decide for yourself what your values are and what your what integrity looks like for you. What does that mean? And then when you have a definition of what integrity is, then and you're good with that, I would compare it to what the superstars are doing. Look at Jeramy Freeman, right? Look at I forgot. He wrote Dr. Ben. He wrote the book Body by God, and I cannot remember his last name right now. I will look it up. But look at Jeramy, look at Dr. John D. Martini, Dr. Ben by Body of God. Look at your peers, right? That your top 5 that are around you. And do they show up when they say they're going to show up? If they can't show up, do they renegotiate the agreement or do they just not show? Right? Like you have to look at these behaviors, actions, and inactions. And how are people supporting what you're doing? And be willing to say goodbye. Because every time you close a door, another one opens. And you have to be willing to say no to something to get a yes somewhere else. And it starts with what's rolling down across the screen, integrity. But in integrity, as Jeramy was saying, within yourself, are you being true to yourself? Are you putting yourself second? Because you have to, and I mean you have to put yourself first, like without fail. Put yourself first. If starting your morning off means grabbing a cup of coffee and whisking off to work, spoiler alert, you're not putting yourself first. You're putting work first. You're filling your body with a substance that's impairing. That's right, impairing your brain health. Okay. You're then getting in a car, racing to work. I didn't hear that you meditated in the morning. I didn't hear that you went for a walk in the morning. I didn't hear any of those things. I'm just making this up as I go, but I do know you. And the reason I know you are doing these things is because that was me.
Yeah.
I did that, right? So I had to shift my own mindset. And so the opportunity is to shift your mindset so you can get what you want. And that is not selfish. That's self-care.
That is. And, if I can add to that,
Yes,
when
please.
when again, we go back to what you're saying, again, behavior never lies. And again, you can see it in yourself, you can see it in others. But, when we're talking about taking your power back, part of taking that power back starts right when you get up in the morning, so a lot of times people will, their alarm will go off and they'll hit snooze, and they'll go back to sleep and it'll alarm again and hit snooze again. And so essentially, those little signals that we give ourselves, tell us exactly what we're going to do and who we are. And so if you're hitting that snooze button, then you are already procrastinating. You've started your day with procrastination. Okay. You've decided to put off getting up and getting your day going. And so I never hit snooze. I won't hit snooze. I don't even have an alarm actually, because I'm so, on my schedule. And so again, snooze is not in my vocabulary because of the fact that it infringes on my own integrity. Okay. Personally for me. Okay. I will not start my day by procrastinating, because when you procrastinate and you give your energy, your effort, your attention to anything else other than focusing on you and your greater vision, then you're never moving in the positive direction. It's easy to be able to waste our entire day, or else hit that snooze button over and over again until now you don't have any time to get ready and you got up and you're frantic. You got to take that cup of coffee. You're going to run. You literally put yourself in that simulation of stress where the blood is in the limbic part of the brain. Now you're not in control. You're reacting to your day. You have given your power away completely, and now you're frazzled. You have frenetic energy and you're out of control. Okay, we've all experienced that. Every one of us has. So, start your day with intention. Start your day by getting up a little bit earlier, not hitting the snooze. Start your day by paying attention to yourself. Go out and, and do some light cardio. Maybe I go to get on a vibrocore. I do the rower, but I don't meditate. I visualize. I'm a visualizer because I really do truly believe that I always say that thought is spirit. Okay. Mm-hmm. And we can use thought positively or negatively. We can use it constructively or destructively. It's creative. Thought is always creative. It's always either constructive or destructive. We have the choice to use it however we want. Thought is spirit. The Holy Spirit would be righteous thought that actually aligns with our greater vision, right? The idea, greater than a thought is an idea. Okay, because it's accumulation of thoughts. It's kind of like saying integrity. Integrity is a word, but but then the word integrity is used in a sentence in action, right? It's doing the
It's a
right.
verb. It's a verb or an adverb? It's a verb.
It's the verb.
It's a verb.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's explaining the action of it. Integrity is doing the right thing and doing the thing that you said you're going to do to the best of your ability, even when no one's looking. Okay, so it goes from the word to now the idea, which is like a sentence. Okay, but the vision is even greater. Okay, so if thought is spirit, okay, and it is creative always. It creates. Then ideas are even more creative. And then vision, okay, which is an accumulation of a number of ideas, okay, that can be seen from a number of different infinite perspectives. Okay, it's idea after idea put together. That to me is God. Okay, vision, the greater vision is God to me, because of the fact that it's greater than thought, it's greater than the idea. And in a vision, a greater vision, it consumes you. When it consumes you, it lights you up, it ignites you. Okay, it makes you feel alive. And listen, every single one of us, all of us, okay, we all are motivated by something different. We all would have a different vision for our life. We all have different, perceptions. We have different situations, experiences. We have different upbringings, different religious beliefs. We have, different economic backgrounds. I mean, it doesn't matter. We're all entirely different in so many different ways. Okay, we're individuals, we're unique. So our greater vision of what would motivate us to live our best life, to be led by a greater vision, okay, it's unique to us. And God is unique to us as well. We all see God differently. Okay, so you can see God in the greater vision, because that's what's going to ignite you. My greater vision is not going to ignite Jody. My greater vision is not going to ignite Raj. My greater vision is not going to ignite my wife. Okay, it's going to ignite me. Okay?
Well, and let's wait. Ho. I love that you said that last one. Your greater vision is not going to ignite your wife, right?
Right.
How many people do you know who are married and they think they're all supposed to be the same?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry, I do that. It's from one of the Jurassic Park, movies, and it bugs my husband. I'm like, no. I can only do it here now. But so when we realize that we're not supposed to be cookie cutters of each other.
No, we're not.
Even if you're husband and wife, even if you're twin flames, right?
Yeah.
We're not supposed to be cookie cutters. We're all here to do something different. And if you are the same, or you're aspiring to be the same, right? Big trouble for the universe, because we all have different missions and we're supposed to integrate those missions. Now you can model yourself after someone else. You can model it. It's a concept with NLP. And yes, model, but you're not doing the same. You can use a process to get you where you want to go, right? Now, I took some notes, sorry. I want to talk about two things. Well, one was the uniqueness. We just covered that. Number two, I want to talk about the snooze button, and I want to flip that. Okay. I want to reframe it, because I really love your concept about the snooze button. I have a different one. Neither one is right and neither one is wrong. It's a thought form.
That's it.
Okay. So I do use the snooze button every morning. Why?
My wife does too.
Yeah, but it's beautiful. And do you know why? Because I use that time. It's 8 minutes. And I use that time to clear any energy in my body that's not for me. I use that time to do a reset if I need it, to bring in God, to think about what I want to bring into my world that morning. And especially if I have some leftover crap, maybe from the day before or from what I dreamed about or whatever, I clear that too. And so that's what my first 8 minutes of the day is. And I do it with the snooze button. So what I want to say is, you can take even what someone else sees as maybe not a positive and make it positive for you. But if you're just hitting the snooze button and rolling over going, don't hit the snooze button, or use your 8 minutes differently.
Exactly. And you're using it. It's not, you're not actually procrastinating. You're actually going right to work. Okay.
Mhm.
You're doing
Yeah.
the greater work. The greater work, that you can do in your day to start your day is to have intention and to set your day with intention and the greater vision of what you intend to do, and what impact you intend to make on the world. That's what that first 8 minutes for you is. You're literally sprinting out of the gates. You may be laying in bed.
Well, I wouldn't call it sprinting, but yeah.
Well, listen, this controls this. And again, if thought is powerful and creative, and idea is even more creative, and then vision or greater vision is even more powerful. Okay, it's the greatest power. Then you literally started your day with the greatest power for 8 minutes. I recommend everybody does that.
Thank you. So we have, I'm going to pivot for a moment. We have, which is not really shown up here, but we have a lot of people in the Facebook group who, the Facebook group is Shifting Your Mindset to Reclaim Your Health. And we have about 600 people in that group. And today we have Kim Herman McKenney. She's watching. Thank you. We have Basant Malhotra. I hope I pronounce your name right. Kim Schilling de Klerk. First of all, Kim, love you. Can't wait to see you again and speak to you live. You're amazing. We have Lorraine Canino. She's amazing. Maria Miranda, how are you? We have Charles Key. Charles Key is so funny. So he sent me a video yesterday of this parrot. And the parrot, there's a parrot and a little girl. And the little girl was losing a tooth, because your teeth, those small ones fall out and then new ones grow in. And it was stuck by a thread. So the parrot went into her mouth and took it out for her. I said, that's true love, right? Because if the parrot's going to go in there, he sees that parrots are very empathic and people don't necessarily realize how empathic they are. You, Jeremy, personally really don't know how empathic they are because mine bit you. That was funny. Jeremy's like a little boy. Oh, hi. She's like, hung.
Yep, she got me good.
It was.
She drew blood.
I know she did. She is not the friendly one. She's still coming out of her cocoon.
Yeah. So, I went from the friendly one that was really lovey and all over me, and I'm like, and I just assumed the other one was. And so when I went next to it, I put my finger out and
chink.
Yep, Tinkerbell got me.
So what I do for her, I have to kind of get her out of her mind, and I give her a towel first, and then it somehow activates her, and then you can put her finger in. But I'll teach you that the next time you're here. And Lisa Harvey, Stephen, she says, you sure do get up early to do a live. Well, that is true. And that's changing in December. It's going to be at 4 p.m. Eastern. So 4 to 5. We're going down to 1 hour, not 2. And it's going to be 4 to 5 Eastern. And so for you, Lisa, that's 3 to 4 Central. So you can listen to us on the drive home. And then Charles says, which is displayed here, he said, others' opinion of you is none of your business. And
I love that. Yes.
Yeah. And it's really true because, and I'm going to go, I'll run a quick commercial in a second here. I'm going to get this book that I love, and I've mentioned it to you before, The 4 Agreements. And if we could just stop taking things personally, which has been my issue, I take things personally. And Spirit just said, add the words in the past. In the past. So I don't own it anymore, right? I used to, in the past, take things personally. When we understand that everybody's handling their own shadow work, meaning their own darkness, their own issues, when we understand that we sometimes show up for people, whether we're actually doing the act or not, we show up as a mirror. Like, say, I'm going to use you and me as an example. I don't really have this with you, but we'll make one up. Okay. So, you could show up for me. No, I can't even do it. It's so, let me just, I'll do this. So there was a girl when I was training, her name is Jen, and she showed up for me as my sister. Like the parts of my sister that I needed to clear so I could have a relationship with my sister. Okay. And so that was last year, June. And so how that shows up is I get triggered by what she said or her energy around it. And the truth is, she didn't do anything wrong. She actually just showed up so I could clear my own trigger. And so if we could start or cease taking things personally and look at things as lessons, then we can clear a space to have more love, more, just more abundance of love, joy, financial things like that. And as a function of that, I am now in relationship with my sister. And it's a beautiful thing. I've waited all my life for this. So instead of looking at everything as, oh, why did they do that to me? Perhaps look at it, what are they doing for me? If someone's pissing you off, don't give your power away.
That's right.
Pause, take a step back. What is the lesson here? I did a short video yesterday, maybe 3-4 minutes long. I don't know. And it was two of them. One was about the signals, and the other one was, are you avoiding self-awareness? So the signals that we have are things like a chameleon, and look up what is the spiritual meaning behind chameleons or salamanders or squirrels. Or in this case, we had I'm allowed to say it. My husband was feeling fractured. Okay. And the coffee cup, the ceramic coffee cup, all of a sudden just got a little fracture in it. So everything has consciousness to it. Which was my issue, my laundry was coming out twisted. So there was something about me. There was something in my frequency, in my world, that felt twisted. And so if I addressed what was being twisted, or he addressed what his fracture was, then that frequency goes away, and we're not going to have more fractured things, and I'm not going to have more twisted laundry, right? But everything has consciousness to it. And so if I have the frequency of twistedness, I'm going to find things in my world that are physical manifestations of that. And so you have the opportunity to look at things differently, so that if you have a broken coffee cup, or another example I gave was shattered glass. Where do you feel shattered? When I was living in Kennesaw, I had a client come, and right before he came, because his frequency was coming into our field, because when I work with someone, I get all their frequencies, I get all their feelings, so I know exactly what's going on for them. I'm holding my glass and it shatters. It literally shatters. And it wasn't my energy, right? It was that person's frequency. And they felt shattered. They were shattered about their gender. They didn't understand their own gender. And so where are you feeling fractured, shattered, twisted, confronted? And is it showing up in the physical manifestation, meaning laundry, coffee cups, or in your physical body? Do you have a twisted muscle? Do you have a fractured arm? You have to look at these things. They're more than just a broken arm, people. It's a bigger message. Do you have something to add, Jeramy?
Well, listen, I mean, that's all very profound. And again, it's very true. The thing about it is that, yes, consciousness is all around us. And of course, like I always say, thought is the origin of every outcome. And so when we do think any thought, okay, that thought can be constructive or destructive. What's happening is people are full of worry, full of doubt, full of fear. And so because of all the different things going on, if you watch the news, and the killings and the shootings, and all the war and all the negative things that are going on, even politics, then you can get wrapped up in those things. And of course, those are things all that are outside of you. Okay, things that you don't necessarily have control of. But if you can give your thoughts, your energy, and your attention away to that, and it takes your power because you feel helpless, you feel hopeless because you can't control those things. And so taking your power back is to take your attention back. Don't turn on the news. Don't watch those things. Okay. And focus on yourself. Because again, if you have a thought of fear, stress, anxiety, like for instance, like I've been in weight loss, I've helped people lose hundreds and hundreds of pounds. Okay. Our program Project 42, the average fat loss was 42 pounds in 42 days. And so the things we start with is saying, listen, if you have a negative thought of yourself, okay, when you go to put on clothes that don't fit you and you get stressed out, and of course you look in the mirror, you say, oh God, I hate how I look. I hate, and sometimes people say, I hate myself. I don't want to look even in the mirror. We heard this all the time. Well, essentially, when you think those thoughts create, thoughts of stress. Those are thoughts of stress. Anything that has worry, doubt, fear, what if, even boredom can start increasing the stress chemicals. And so when you're producing those stress chemicals that are in your body, it ends up, again, the things you think and how you think dictate what every cell in the body does. Those cells, okay, when you have those thoughts, create the chemicals. Those chemicals, now the cells start to increase acids and start sticking together, coagulating. But what's happening is this, okay, when you have cortisol in your system and you want to lose weight, let's say you want to lose weight, but you're thinking about all things you can't stand, you don't like, and you don't want. What's happening is when you're producing cortisol, your body starts producing an enzyme that converts glucose or sugars into fatty acids. So now all of a sudden you start putting fat on easier just from that thought. Now, also from that thought, your body's producing a catabolic chemical, cortisol. Okay, it's catabolic, meaning it breaks down your muscle tissue. You start to lose muscle. Muscle is metabolic, okay, meaning that your metabolism is actually slowing down and breaking down. Your body's ability to process your proteins, your carbs, your fats, all slows down just because you're producing that cortisol. Okay. And so not only that, but now your digestion, when you're in that stress state, the blood goes out to the limbs. Okay. And now digestion slows down. So your body's ability to absorb your nutrients or even to eliminate your toxins, it all slows down. So you're not getting rid of the toxins that are in the colon. And so what happens? Those toxins start to push out endo and exotoxins into the bloodstream. Okay. So now you have all you have autotoxicity within the whole entire system. And also, again, when you're in that stress state,
autotoxicity,
your body is full of toxins and acids. And so what happens when your body is full of acids and toxins, your body has to try to eliminate those acids and toxins because it starts to deteriorate or break down your cells. So your body's protective mechanism is to force any excess into the fat cell. Okay. Your fat cells are your friend. Okay, because they will hold on to and they'll harbor anything that your body can't process. So if you have too much acid, too much toxins in your system, your fat cells hold it in safe harbor. And your body.
So your body's in a place where it can release it. Now I get a product from you. Is it Alkalize?
Yes, Alkalize.
That's the.
Alkalize helps create cellular unity. Okay, so it helps to lend electrons. Okay, every cell in your body has a negative charge on the outside of it. Okay, so it's an electron. The electron allows the cells to, like two magnets that repel each other. You try to push them together, they repel. Okay, that's what our cells are like. They're supposed to be like. Okay, but your acids, your toxins, they have a positive charge. So your negatively charged cells will attract to the positive. So what happens is when you have those acids and toxins, your cells start to stick together and coagulate, okay, and they actually even mutate. So this is all happening in your body just from how you're thinking, okay, just from the way you're thinking. So again, if we are the king, okay, and this is the kingdom, then what's happening is if you're thinking those negative thoughts, then you're thinking a destructive thought. So again, we get to think constructively to build up or destructively to tear down. The problem is we are thinking in a destructive way the majority of the time. And so our bodies are in disarray. Our kingdom is out of order.
Yeah. Yeah. And
that's
so,
just the thought.
Yeah. And, I want to tie this back to, I think stories are really helpful for people. So as you know, I got chicken pox this year, right?
Yes.
And that happened August 13th. And my legs are now healing, finally. But I want to go to thoughts. It was so ugly. It's so ugly. And so I was feeling ugly.
Mm.
And so, and I felt sad and I felt not pretty. And I haven't shown my legs. I mean, I went out maybe once or twice with a escort on accident. I had to run to the store. And people were probably afraid to be in the same damn aisle with me because, you could play connect the dots with those legs. I mean, and it's comical, really not. But the point is that if you can't, and look, and we're not here saying we're perfect. We're
No.
saying that we have our own struggles, but we know how to process through them when they come. Okay.
Right.
And so I had to shift my mindset again, you know, and find myself beautiful and worthy with the connect the dots in my legs.
Right. And so, Jody, how did you do that? Just explain how you did that. You said you saw yourself as.
Yeah. So there's a beautiful picture of Andrew and I. We're at a wedding and I'm wearing this black dress that's just above the knee, and my legs are flipping gorgeous. I mean, gorgeous, right? So that is, I visualize it.
Mhm.
I was going to print it out and put it up. I am now going to do that because we're at the tail end, just because I want to. I want to drive this home, but I've been visualizing that beauty.
There you go. And that's right. That's it right there. We already talked about this, but people don't use visualization. And so essentially your vision, okay, your greater vision, what Jody had to do there was, you see something right here in front of you. Okay. You see the circumstance that's in front of you, the chicken pox, the dots all over your legs, the pain, the aches, anything that's going on that seems to be like your world's falling apart. But when you have a vision, okay, vision is beyond where you are right now. Okay. And so the vision is something greater. Okay. And so when you envision something, it corrects your sight. Okay. So vision is it corrects your sight, because what happens is we get tied up with what we're seeing right here, right now, and what's happening and why me, I don't look good. I don't look pretty. I don't feel pretty. All these things. Okay. Because of something that's happened. But when you use vision, vision takes you beyond what's the circumstances right here. It helps to help you see past, what's right here. It corrects your sight. And so, that's why I always talk about that greater vision, because I do feel like greater vision, there's so much power in it. And sometimes we have a hard time actually seeing that vision because we're in a world where 98% of people are left brained. Okay. Meaning that they're all detail. It's detail and analyzing. And, and so, the greater vision is more of a right brained type of thing where you're seeing something bigger than yourself, something greater than yourself. And so when we close our eyes and we can fast forward into the future, and if we can sit there and think about what does our best life look like, and in this best life, who am I and how do I operate? Am I happy, and how am I communicating with people in this vision of my best life? And am I making an impact in this vision of my best life? And, and what kind of energy do I have in this best life? If you sat there and envisioned that right there is empowering. And it's the opposite thought of what I was just talking about, where you have worry, doubt, and fear of how you look, and not liking how your clothes fit and all these things. Okay. The exact opposite of the destructive thought is the empowering thought, the one that's constructive and builds up. And that is in your vision. It's in your vision. And so that's what Jody did there. She took a picture of herself of when she knew she looked good and she liked how she looked and how she felt. And then she reignited that vision. Okay. And she can see that picture. Okay. It's outside of her, but again, it's in her as well. So what you want to do is you want to have that greater vision consume you. Take time like Jody does, okay, for the first 8 minutes of your day, and see that greater vision that ignites you. It wakes you up and helps you see beyond what's right here, right now. Okay, because you can lend from the future, okay, and bring it right here to your present, because right here in the present, right now, is the moment that you have. Okay, the greater vision is your opportunity to see the possibility that's out there. Okay, the greater possibility in your life. Okay, the greater you. Every one of us on this cast, every person listening and that's not listening, we all know, every one of us know that we can be better than we are right now. We can improve. We can make a bigger impact. Okay, we haven't reached our or even tapped into our full potential yet, but it's in us. Okay. And so we want to be able to activate that by seeing something beyond us that's greater than us. And again, I always say vision is God, because it's the only thing that gets this nitrogen body, which nitrogen they say is inert, inactive. It's the only thing that activates it. Okay. Any great visionary that you see out there, anybody that's done anything great in history, any great sports athlete, every single one of them talks about vision, vision, vision. Listen. Just listen. You'll hear them talk about their vision. They had a vision. Okay. And so it's the vision that lights them up and it makes them extraordinary. It helps them dominate. It helps them to master certain areas that make people want to know more about them. Okay. If you can ignite vision in a world where 98% of people are left brain, okay, where they have to know all the details. They have to know if somebody else did it and if it worked or not. They analyze, they overanalyze. They have paralysis through analysis, and they do absolutely nothing at all. And they feel stuck here doing absolutely nothing, looking at everybody else's creation, giving their power away to social media, giving their power away and their attention away, okay, to everything outside of themselves. And what's going on in the world and out in the news, instead of focusing on themselves and their greater vision. If you can focus on your greater vision, which is you focusing on you and your better version of you, okay, that is when you empower yourself. That is when you take your power back. That is when you step into your power, become the leader of your life, and start moving in the direction of where you want to go. Instead of having a pity party and feeling sorry for yourself because of where you are right here, right now, and thinking it's everybody else's fault. Part of taking your power back is stop blaming everybody. Stop pointing your finger at everybody else and everything else and start taking the blame. Okay, so you know what? It is me. I need to change. The only way the whole world's going to change is if I change. If I don't change, nothing changes. That's the bottom line. Okay, so that greater vision that helps you see beyond what's happening right here, right now. So take your power back. Stop blaming everything else. It's your fault. Okay, it's your thinking. It's the way you're thinking that's creating that laundry to be all bundled up, because your thoughts create frequency, and frequency emits out, and what comes back is exactly the same frequency you're putting out. Put out a higher frequency. What creates a higher frequency? A greater vision. A greater vision does it. Okay, not that negative thought. Okay, not that thought of I wish I had, or why did this happen to me, or all the what ifs and the worry, the doubt, the fear that overcomes us because of being in debt or something that's happened to our body, or we have an injury, or we lost a loved one. All those things. The bottom line is can we control all those things outside of us? No, we cannot. But we can control one thing. As the leader of your life, you have the ability to think and you have the ability to choose, okay? And you have to choose the constructive thought. You have to choose the bigger idea and whether or not you're going to act on that idea. You have to choose whether or not you're going to, look into all the details, that's out there and information's at our fingertips, or if I'm going to create a greater vision. Most people never take time to stop and create a greater, grander vision of who they can be, the impact they can make, and then go after it. Instead, they sit here and all this information that's at our fingertips. We have information in seconds at our fingertips at any time, and we can literally dive in and we can be a weight loss expert, but do nothing at all. Okay, be paralyzed because we have so much information and do nothing. So information is not power, and knowledge is not power either.
No, action is.
That's right. Implementation of that knowledge is power. So we can sit here and talk about vision all day long. We can talk about taking your power back all day long, but until you take the action step of taking your power back by not blaming everybody else and saying, I am the one responsible. I have to step into the driver's seat. I have to be the leader of my life. I have to direct my next thought and the thought after that and the next choice and the choice after that. That's why those characteristics I talk about are so powerful. They direct your choices. Okay, if you're the leader of your life and character is your number one principle and the characteristics are integrity, then guess what? You know what your choices are. You know what you're going to do, not just now, but in 50 years from now. You know what they are. Not only that, but if you operate with a positive attitude in everything you do and you present yourself to the world, even when that person at the bank, misuses their power, and you send them a letter saying, thank you for this opportunity for me to learn from you. Okay.
Right.
Right there is a positive attitude to push it out to the world. And then a problem solver. We're in a world where, listen, we should be able to solve all kinds of problems because we do have information at our fingertips, but people are passing off. That's not my problem. That's not my problem. In workday, in the workplace today, that's not my job. That's not what I do. So essentially, when you become a problem solver, you start solving small problems first and foremost, but then the larger the problem you can solve, the more valuable you become. And not only that, when you're solving problems, you have to find new information, new knowledge, new information. And that new knowledge and information, okay, it makes you more valuable, okay, to the world. And so being a problem solver as the leader of your life, it's imperative. Okay. And then focused on growth. Jody starts her day focusing on growth. She starts her day, those first 8 minutes, it's her focusing, using vision. Okay. The thing that ignites us, wakes us up, and gets us moving in the right direction. Okay. Instead of focusing on everything that we have to do, we can't stand, we don't want to do, or how we're feeling. I get up. Oh, I'm so achy. Oh my God, I'm so sore. You can think of
if you are achy, get your foam roller out.
Yeah. And start changing your mind. Change your mind. Thought is the origin of every outcome. Okay. Thought is powerful. Ideas are power, but vision is the power. It is the greater power. And so if you use that, then you're going to excel in your life. The bottom line is that we're in a world right now, again, where 98% of people are not having the success they want or the life they want because they're stuck in their left brain.
Left brain. They're overanalyzing analysis.
And so essentially we have to move out of that. Okay. I do these things every day. I know I'm over talking Jody, but I just want to clear this up.
I'm making notes. I'll pipe in when you're done. So I
do these things that help open up the brain. Okay. That help to let the corpus callosum, let the left and the right hemispheres of the brain operate together. Okay. So that you have full brain integration. So what I do is I do calisthenics for 2 minutes straight. Okay. Whether it's some squat thrusts, push-ups, I get on a rower. I love to do the rower. It's low impact. I push all out till I can barely even breathe. Okay. And so that right there gets my oxygen levels up. It helps to feed the brain. It helps your body produce BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which helps you focus and dial in. It helps with new neural pathways to be able to create new neural pathways. It increases acetylcholine. Not only that, but I also start to do, I get on the VibraCore, which is a vibration machine that it helps increase the vibration of every cell in your body. Then I do cross-body movements like this, okay? Putting my left hand in my right hemisphere and my right into my left. And so this right here, it helps to increase the circulation between the corpus callosum to help increase full brain integration. I did this right before we did this show today.
So you're saying when you are doing these
cross-body movements,
it's actually rewiring your brain so the right and left hemisphere speak to one another.
It's increasing the circulation in the corpus callosum, which is the bundle of nerves between each side, to help them both work together and having full brain integration. Yes. So cross-body movements are very, very powerful. And of course, even doing power poses, our physiology, the way we hold our body, that's why I always say that, is as the leader of your life, a positive attitude is displayed in your physiology, the way you hold yourself, the way you present yourself to the world. And so sometimes using like a power pose, you've heard of the power poses, the victory pose, the Wonder Woman.
Almost every photo that I take is in that pose.
Yes.
So I was a gymnast. And so we ended up, and actually I'm going to change our format here for a moment. So I always ended every pose with this as a gymnast. You do your trick and boom. So when I'm taking pictures with others, it's always this, because, to me, that's the happy pose, right?
Yes. And it manipulates the chemicals. That's what's happening is your physiology helps produce those chemicals too. So again, there's studies that show that it decreases your stress chemicals, your cortisol, adrenaline, and things like that. It decreases them by 50%. I mean, you can cut them in half. Yes, and it increases.
So I do my power pose.
Increases testosterone 2%. Empowerment hormone.
Okay, we need to do a show on that.
Using your physiology to increase your performance. Yes, that's things I talk about all the time. Increase performance with physiology.
So I have a lot of notes because, I don't want to interrupt the flow, right? And I also don't want to forget. So may I?
Go ahead. The floor is yours. I know I went a little overboard there, but that's,
you didn't go overboard. You're being driven by the divine. I'm cool with this. Very cool with this. So first I want to talk about the pity party and blame and shame.
Yes.
So blame and shame doesn't get you anywhere. Okay. And excuse me, I'm going to put this back up. Okay. So It doesn't get you anywhere. And it's so low vibration that it keeps you in a low vibrational state.
Yes.
Let's just talk about that to begin with. You can't manifest your life from a low vibration state. You can manifest everything with gratitude, which is a very high vibration state. So if you want to start manifesting, an action step you can take today, a couple, get yourself either a gratitude jar or a gratitude journal, whichever works best for you. The third thing you can do relative to gratitude, which I'm behind on doing, I mean, I send out the gratitude, but I send out thank you cards for everything. Every time I get an order for anything, I send out a thank you card, right? Because without them, like I have gratitude for somebody who's taken the time to understand enough about what I do to buy either my product and or service. Okay. So, secondly, so you can shift your mindset from blame and shame to what is the lesson, and thank you to the person who gave me the lesson. That's your shift. That's how you're going to reframe things, not blame them, thank them for the lesson. Okay. Anchor that in. Now, pity party. I want to talk about the pity party. We've all had them. Yeah. Have you had a pity party before?
Many.
Yeah. So I have a rule. When my mom was, when I was living with my mom, I moved in when she was ill, and she would have pity parties. And prior to that, we would say, well, you have 10 minutes. Like it's the 10-minute, 10 minutes, be pissed, be whatever. And then you have to be done.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to give you guys two options today for that. The 10-minute rule, where you and your partner, whether it's a business partner and a family member, hey, let's create this agreement. We're going to have a 10-minute rule. If you want to be pissed, you get 10 minutes to be pissed. Okay. And then you have to give it up, give it to God, find the value, find the lesson, and move on. Now, when my mom had cancer, I told her we're reducing that to 10 seconds.
Yeah, you don't have time anymore.
No, 10-second rule. So you choose 10 minutes or 10 seconds. It's up to you. Okay. So, and I want to just say something. So my sister and I were talking, and my mom was the queen of grudges. Spoiler, that will give you the worst diseases on the planet. When you hold a grudge, you are not hurting the other person. You're literally killing and hurting yourself.
Yep.
And let that sink in. Give that pause for a moment. So if you're hating someone, being angry with someone because they didn't meet your expectations, you're actually hurting yourself. Know that that person is going through something that you have no idea about. And you have an opportunity to send a grace card. Give grace. Send them love. Now, how do I know this so well? Because my mom was the queen of grudges, and guess who was too? Me. I learned it. Unlearn the flipping behavior. So as you go into, oh, they did me wrong, or he didn't do this right, or she didn't do that right, go, oops, plot twist. Those are your words, plot twist. Send love, send grace. They're going through something you know nothing about. Send love, send grace. It's not your business. Okay. That's blame and shame and pity party. What else I got here that you talked about?
Can I add to that real quick?
What?
Can I add to that real quickly?
Yes.
Yeah, I have identical twin girls. They're 9 years old right now. And so, you think about, how we are as children. As children, we all, blame, somebody else or something else because we don't want to get in trouble. Okay, essentially we try to stay out of trouble. So what we do is we learn to blame something else or somebody else for something that we may or may not have done, but we always are blaming. And so, my twins sometimes are like, I didn't do it. No, she did it. She did it. Instead of blaming each other. Essentially, what happens is when we're children, we become great at blaming.
Oh,
But
sure
we
do.
think we grow out of it, but we don't grow out of it. We actually get better at it. Okay. We actually improve the skill of blaming as we get older. Okay. And so, and that's what happens. And we start seeing that, when people don't have the result that they want in their life, or they're not where they want to be in their life, they always have an excuse, a justification, a reason, okay, for why they're where they're at. And that's essentially blaming. And so again, take back your power. Stop blaming. Start knowing that, the position you're in your life right now, okay, the situation you're in your life right now, whether it's in your relationship, financially, physically, mentally, all those things are a product of all the choices you've made up to this point. Most people do not want to hear that, but the bottom line is it's true. We are an accumulation of all of our choices, all of our thoughts, whether positive and negative, constructive, destructive, all those things. And so we have to take that responsibility back and realize you are the king, okay, of this kingdom. And if you want order, then you have to operate
Or
okay,
queen.
position of order.
Or
What's
queen of the queendom.
Or queen, king, queen, queen. And you listen, either one, you're in control. You're the one calling the shots. So yes, taking your power back, that blame and shame, those are, again, two things like you said about, when you're harboring negative feelings towards somebody else, or hate or anger, I think that it was Einstein that said that that's like drinking poison. Okay?
Well, you're good words right now and hoping the other person dies, right?
Yeah, you're hoping the other person dies, but it's literally killing you. That destructive thought is killing you. It is breaking down, it's causing those acids and toxins, making your cells deteriorate, okay, making those cells break down, mutate, okay, causing issues like cancer, because cancer grows in acidic pools. And so essentially those acids and toxins are causing that acidic, disorganized chaos within the body that causes disease, causes issues, inflammation, pain. And so we have to take control and take our power back first and foremost right here to control all this. And when our bodies are a power plant. We're a mega power plant, okay, that can actually, send messages out, send that frequency out and receive it. Okay, we're a receiver.
Well, let me talk about that. Hold on. So the power plant and the frequencies of messages. So I've always used a frequency of love and shungite over the longitude and latitude of my home.
Mm-hmm.
And I was using a company. I was paying like $35 a month. And then I bought the Cocoon.
Yes.
So I don't use that other company anymore. And the Cocoon is by Centropics. What that does is 82 feet north, east, west, south, up and down. So it's literally healing the land that you live on, 82 feet down. That's a lot of space. And the home, the people in the home, there's a frequency for the food.
Yes.
You feel your food as you bring it into the home.
It has frequency.
Yeah, the frequency of the animals, I run that. There's one for sleep. Matter of fact, we put in the sleep frequency, and we were talking about how you don't use an alarm. We don't either.
Yeah.
We do now. Because what happened was that sleep frequency was so perfect, we slept until 8:15. Yeah. And I'm like, what? And I didn't, yeah. Okay. So what I want to say is that your frequency, we are electrical beings having a physical experience. It's very important to understand that. You are primarily a frequency being, meaning you are spiritual. You're made in the eyes of God, right? And they said, hey, we're going to give you this physical body. I call them body bags. Okay. So you can walk and roam the earth and get some cool lessons. It's called Earth School. So now, if you're not taking care of this physical body, right, your spiritual body also suffers.
Yes.
So this is not your fault, but it is there for all of you, unless you're doing this. Okay. Your spiritual and physical body is under duress right now as we speak. And the reason is because of the 5G towers, the cell towers, the computer you're using right now, watching us, right? We're being exposed to all these frequencies. Some frequencies are really, really good for your emotional and physical well-being. Some, not so much. Hair dryer sucks, baby monitors, your computer, your cell phone, all of that. And so what I want to tell you, if you really want to change your frequency, you have to neutralize the frequencies that are not for your highest good in the home. And for us, we put a plug in to the wall and it neutralizes all the electricity in the home. It's like $85. We do that for the car. Plug it in, leave it, neutralizes all electricity. Now, but here's the thing. That handles the electricity that's in the home. What about all the electrosmog that's coming into the home from outside the home? It's not handling that. So that's where this cocoon comes in, because it's putting a cocoon or a bubble around your home. And you all need it. I'm not a need person. I'm a want person, because need's kind of low vibration. But if you want to raise your vibration, you need this. Sorry. Because those vibrations are harming your DNA. It's clumping your red blood cells. It's impairing your brain health. And you can't function at your full potential if you're being bombarded with these negative frequencies that, they're ramping up from time to time. And one of the reasons I'm so passionate about this is because prior to moving to Marietta, I lived in Kennesaw and I had 15 smart meters on my wall, which Cobb EMC, I guess it's the county's electric company, said to me, "Oh, but those smart meters are approved by the manufacturer." And I said, "Of course they are. They're selling them to you. Of course they approved their own product, right?" And those products, one smart meter is equivalent to the radiation from 150 smartphones. Wear that crap on your body all day and be happy. No. That's not happening. So neutralize the EMF. Do that simple thing that helps you reclaim your own frequency, your own self, your true self. When I was a little girl, I was actually penalized for this. I was so flippin' happy, right? And I was like, the entertainer. I was happy. We didn't have all these. We had it, but not at this level. We didn't have all this negative EMF in the 60s. We had it, but not at this level. And so it wasn't impacting my health at that point in time as negatively as it did yesterday or last year or in 2010 or 1990 or 1980. So I'm going to tell you that my brother died. And he died from putting the cell phone by his head because it's radiation and it clumped the red blood cells by his brain. And he died. He got a brain tumor and he died. And I'm going to repeat that as many times as I need to until you all do not put that phone by your head. Oh, by the way, Bluetooth is not better. Do not wear Bluetooth at your head. You're killing your brain cells. Oh, do I need to repeat that? Yes, you're killing your brain cells. No Bluetooth, hardwire, or speakerphone. Okay, I think the message is sent. Yes? Done now. Jeramy's like, "You go, girl." Well, because, right, it's killing our brain. Cancel. But it's hurting people's brain. And then we don't understand why cancer's on the rise or why brain tumors are on the rise. Well, because if you have a head, or women who are putting the phone, I think they're still doing this. they're taking the phone, they're putting in their bra, which you shouldn't even be wearing a bra, but that's another show.
I'm not on that one.
Well, you could be because you have daughters and a wife.
I have, yes.
And you don't want them cutting off their lymphatics. That's what a bra does. It cuts off the lymphatics and it doesn't allow for blood flow. So that's your gig. If there's anything that's cutting off blood flow, do you want your children wearing bras that cuts off their blood flow? Because that's the root cause of cancer for them. Right. And you can actually just wear a tank top and hold the girls in. You can talk about it. You got this. You've got beautiful children and a stunning, amazing, spiritually amazing wife.
Yes.
We should get her on the show sometime.
We need to get her on. Yes.
She's a rock star, like all day long.
Yeah, it feels like, whenever I have an idea or a thought, or even like I've just written 2 books, and so, I have her go through and edit, and so she always says, "Hey, this is good. I like the way you're saying this, but I really feel like, she can look at it from a number of different, perceptions than I can see it." And so she said, "What if you were to approach this and say it this way?" And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, that's so much more profound." So what I wanted to say is she comes up with these profound ideas that, are almost out of my awareness, those saying, you don't know what you don't know. Well, there's so many things that she knows that I don't even know. And I'm like, I've been with her for how many years? It just amazes me, and so, so she is really, you have to have her on the show because she definitely is that person that, has a different view. And of course, we all have our own view. But if we're open up to listening to somebody else, sometimes we can, cue little things. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. It's relevant in everything. And sometimes we need a shift in thought in the way we think and how we think to be able to proceed forward, or to be able to get rid of this blockage, or to be able to see something that we didn't see before. She does that for me.
My husband does that for me. He's amazing. I mean, we need to talk about both of our books, by the way.
Yes.
So we'll go there next. But I author articles for several different magazines, and he's my editor, all day, right? He's telling me, forget the fact that he's better at grammar than I'll ever be, because his mom is so brilliant. Crap. And you think that the genes weren't passed on? I mean, really. She went to Yale, right? And she's 80. I think she's like 80 something, 83 maybe. So, so think about a woman going to Yale at that time.
Yeah,
she's brilliant. They let her in, right? because they're like, we can't not let her in. So, I just want to see here. Hold on. Chris says, accepting complete responsibility for your life can be a hard pill to swallow.
Yes.
Especially when we're struggling. This lesson came years ago when I was so sick. Yeah, she has an amazing story to tell. She really overcame adversity, and similar to mine, right? The Western Medical Society gets a hold of us and uses us as an experiment. Lucky us. So, she goes, it blew my mind that ultimately I created this, which I don't know what this is, but we'll find out, I'm sure. So I want to talk about our books. We have about 15 minutes left on the show, and let's see. So can you send me a link on the private chat of your book for me so I have it?
My book, I have not released this. The one that I'm writing, I do have one book called Choices. I can send you a link for. Choices essentially is characteristics, again, which is the rebar of your character. Okay, that helps guide your choices to a more extraordinary life. That's what Choices is. And so there's some really good things. It's a really great little pocket book. It's a small little book. I don't know if I have one here right here, and I don't.
Well, if you send me a link, maybe I can pull it up. I'm going to show mine that is in pre-sale right now.
Yeah.
And so I'll just say that So I want to say that it says that it's going to be available at the end of the year. That's a lie. I did a reframe. Here's the thing. I'll be done writing this by end of year. I'm actually going to get a little cottage in Blue Ridge Mountains for a week and finish it up there. And, but this is the book. It's Emotional Healing, Toxic Free Living. And it's going to be $22.22. And a percentage or a chunk of money of that is also going to go to the EWG.org, which is environmentalworkinggroup.org. And the reason I'm donating that versus like the Cancer Society or any of those other places, because the EWG.org to me is the Cancer Society, right? The Anti-Cancer Society. They're the ones actually doing the work of creating a safe place for us to live. They're creating awareness about the toxicity in your water, the toxicity in your food, how to source properly, and things like that. And what this book is all about is, well, it's a few things. Number one, it's about my personal health journey and how I overcame adversity using my mindset, shifting my mindset to reclaim my health. The other thing I talk about, there's a chapter about my brother and how my brother was given 1 year to live and lived for 23 years because of mindset and nutrition. He was a chiropractor. We will have a chapter called Words Are Just Vibrations in the Air. Jeramy is a contributing author to that section. Thank you, Jeramy. And so is my friend Lori Urbancic and a few others. And Words Are Just Vibrations in the Ear is really going to give you some discernment about what words mean, right? And then we're going to take different words, like the word thank you, right? Thank you can be the tone and the energy behind the word thank you can drive the entire meaning. And when you start understanding how your energy drives meaning to what you're saying, you'll be happy to say, pardon my French, but I'm just going to do this. Let me see if I have it here. Well, I have one button. I have this button, the easy. I have the easy button, but there's also the other button that I used with your daughter. It's got, oh, I think is this it? No, it's the F-bomb, but it's funny. The thing is, and I'm not advocating that you use the F-bomb. What I'm saying is it's the energy behind it is funny and has levity. Versus, and that's a great one because a lot of people are triggered by the F-bomb. So what's your real trigger, right? Right? Is it a mindset? Is it something that somebody told you? Has it always been bad energy behind the F word? Or was it like me where it was a funny and like an almost empowering word, right? But if you're using it to hurt somebody, it's a low vibration. If you're using it because it's like, oh, F, and I really don't want to use it on the show, then what I'm trying to explain to you is it's always the vibration. It's always the energy you put into something, which is always driven by your mindset. And so this book will help you shift your thinking. Maybe you have absolute optimal health. Maybe you just need to shift it somewhere else, but it gives you the tools to do that. Jeramy, where can I find your book, sweetheart?
You can go right to freemanformula.com and you can go under books or underneath the tabs that have products. And so the choices book is there. We are releasing also Lead Your Life. It's what you were born to do. In January. That's okay. Yeah. So
if I go to shop, am I going to shop first or?
Yeah, go to shop.
Okay. And then t-shirts, books, and more.
You got books.
Oh.
There you go. The
choices nice. Right. Okay. So let me stop sharing this one and share the next one. Jeramy, I love what you're about.
I love what you're about. So that's a cookbook right there. Go down. The choices right in the middle. You can see it. It looks like it's a white book. So that's it. That's choices. And there's a little video there that talks about it. I have full on webinars and seminars that have to do with that book that kind of go deeper into it. But it's essentially, again, when we step into the leadership position of our lives and we start seeing things differently, again, that's just a shift. Most people don't look at themselves as the leader of their life. Okay, so when you just look at yourself that way, now you have the opportunity to be able to establish really who you are. If you ask somebody who they really are, they might think, everybody kind of has an idea, but when you start to put in character and characteristics, now you define who you are. Okay. And it increases your polarity, meaning that what's, your positives and your negatives, what you will do, what you won't do. And when you increase polarity, guess what? You increase magnetism. Okay. Because polarity and magnetism, they come together. So choices, what it does is it gives you very specific characteristics, which again is the rebar that strengthens your character. Okay. And who you are as a leader, to be able to guide your choices that you make, okay, to a more extraordinary life, because we are a product of our choices. And there, you'll see there's a penny on the cover. You have to read the book to understand why that penny is on the cover in the middle of choices there. But again, it's pretty
Penny for your thoughts.
Yeah, there's it's that and more. So when you read this book, you'll never look at a penny the same way ever again. You'll never look at a penny the same way again, ever. It'll literally change everything. You're gonna start seeing pennies everywhere. You'll see them all over the place after you read this book.
So I think I have to get that book, and I will. I want to say this. First of all, I love pennies. My father, who passed in 2012, leaves us pennies from heaven all the time. And we find them. And then he started leaving quarters and nickels and dimes. And so he said, so what we did is we have a collection, okay? And of these, we put them in a tray, all the coins that we get now. We get all the coins, and we create little bags. And we now we use Ziploc baggies. I used to use other ones. And we put down words of affirmation on the Ziploc baggies, and then we hand them out to the homeless.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. Because they're pennies from heaven.
Yeah.
Right? And imagine, God forbid, you're homeless and you wake up, because most of the time we're finding them, they're sleeping or whatever, and you wake up and there's a bag of coins with words of affirmation. And sometimes we'll, like, if we're at a hotel, we'll grab the soaps and the shampoos. We'll stick in shampoos, or we'll stick in some nail files, or we'll stick in something, and we go right there and we help. And mostly Andrew's the one doing this, because where he works, there seems to be, he works at a Medicare clinic. So there's a lot of homeless people kind of walking around. And so he's handing most of this out. And so what's coming to me, I'm just going to take this down for a moment. What's coming to me is to present this to you, the community. Where can you brighten up someone else's life? Today's Halloween. Now, most people are handing out candy. I hand out words of affirmation.
I love it.
I do. I've been doing that since 2013. I got a lot of flack for it from a family member. Oh, you're ruining Halloween. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm letting them all rise up. So I handed out Halloween pencils and words of affirmation. It was a picture of Nelson Mandela, and it said, there is no, what is it? It's about, there's about not playing small in life. What is his quote?
Let your light shine. So there's no, do not let play small because of other people.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Mandela, hold on a second. Nelson Mandela. Let me just look it up, because I feel like that's a perfect end to this show, because this is what we're talking about, right? That there's no power in playing small, or I'm going to say just plain small, right? Your plain small doesn't serve the world. And there is no passion to be found in plain small, in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. Take back your power. I love Nelson Mandela. So how can you today, let's say if you don't have money and you don't want to be handing out coins because money's not abundant for you yet, okay? Go ahead. I'm sure you got a piece of paper or Post-it notes. Hand those out with a nice saying on it, right? Do something that makes a difference in the world for someone else. It comes back to you tenfold. I can promise you. All right. Anything you want to add, Jeramy?
No, I know there's probably so much more we can cover on this topic. We're in a world of addiction, essentially, but the addiction is just giving your power away. There's not a plan out there. If you're a smoker and you're saying that a plant is more powerful than you are, there's no way. You're powerful. You are powerful. The plant is not more powerful than you. The grape or the alcohol, it's not more powerful than you. You are more powerful. So you have to understand your power to be able to take that power back and to be able to, stand to take away the addiction and stop saying that you have this addiction. Instead, claim something different.
Change your language.
Change your language, change your thought process. Essentially, there's so many things that we are addicted to, whether it's, sometimes we're addicted to, negative thought thinking, or porn, or there's so many different things that are out there. Alcohol, drugs. We have, a drug epidemic right now where people are trying to numb themselves. So essentially,
well, they're trying to numb themselves because of that EMF crap that's in there and the toxins in their food and water supply.
Well, yeah, well, they're on the downward spiral of negative thought process that makes them feel stuck. Okay, when you feel stuck, it's such a low frequency that you can't see outside of it. Again, it's disorganized chaos. When you're in disorganized chaos, you can't see outside of it, and so what happens is you end up doing crazy things. You end up not making great decisions. You make poor choices over and over and over again. So. Anyways, listen, everybody out there.
Though, because this is amazing. You're talking about addictions, right? And last night when I went to bed, I was reading The 4 Agreements by Miguel Ruiz, and about not taking things personally. And it's that we're addicted to suffering. We're addicted to suffering.
Sure.
I don't care if you're human, you're addicted to suffering until you've shifted your mindset. Okay. So I have this Kick It patch. And there are these super patches. Sorry, I just have to talk about this because this is crazy cool. And when you said addictions, it was sitting right here. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Spirit cued him in. So addiction is a real thing, whether it's to a food item, a behavior,
sugar, caffeine,
drugs, whatever. It doesn't matter. What I'm going to tell you is that when I was at the conference, the Georgia Addiction Counseling Association, I spoke about the root cause of addictions. It's another show. I spoke about, I created that trail for people, and, they were really grateful for the information and want to hear more of this. And so that's a work in progress. And so, but one of the things that we did is we took out these patches, which, there's patches for peace, there's stability. And so we did a demo, Rajai Kaldani and I, and where someone who said they had no balance whatsoever came up, did the balance test for them, and they couldn't keep their balance. And we put the patch on, and we'll get the video for this. It's all videotaped. And then that person had immediate balance. Okay. And then I said, I want somebody who thinks you have amazing balance, right? So she comes up and she has really good balance, but she was surprised about how we could take her off balance on instant case, right? And so then we put the patch on and she had instant balance, and like it was steadfast. It's crazy cool. So then I showed a video, and y'all can reach out to me if you want to get this, the video that shows the EEG. And the EEG showed the shift in the brain when it came to using the peace patch, which is for stress, right? So what I want to tell you, if you want to grab alcohol, choose peace instead. Try a peace patch. Why? It literally sends a signal on instant case to your brain to give you peace, to give you balance, to help you shift your behavior. Kick it. And I'm oh, we don't want to exit the live. It says this live will be exiting in 2 minutes. So I guess I have 2 minutes before the Podbean exit. But what I want to say is we have plant-based options. We have signals that have no ingredients whatsoever. It's a QR code. It's like a thumbprint. And you have so many options. And we're going to have Jeramy back here because we're going to be talking more about how we can help you shift your mindset. And I guess we have to end the show because it's going to end on in 2 seconds on Podbean. So
Well, Jody, thank you for having me. It was a great pleasure as always. I love your energy and I love what you're doing. And thank you for letting me be part of it.
oh, thank you for like being who you are and showing up with an amazing sense of empowerment and that you share with the world. And so we're so grateful to have you here, and I'm grateful to call you my friend. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to end the show, and don't go nowhere. Okay, everybody. All right. Let's see if I can get this going the way. There it is.